want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Take the their disease. Just like a weed, spread into the streets. Time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip gods into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
So good. So good. So good. Welcome back.
I thought you were singing a completely different song. It's like, that's crazy that you can hear those jams and just be singing some James Brown.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know me, man. I do like James Brown.
Yeah, who doesn't?
I like everybody. I like everything. Dick Rabe, what's good, brother? Good evening. Good evening. Yes, we'll keep
Uncle
it. Steve Evans. What's up, Uncle Steve? God bless America. Farmers, trucks, and
Hooters.
Cameras in the way. And Hooters. What's up, Breeze fans? And Hooters for sure. Yes, I love that Hooters is a family-oriented restaurant.
Sure, why not?
Or is it a bar?
Bar
restaurant. Is it a bar restaurant?
It's got a little bit of both. Anything you want and anything you need.
Yeah.
All right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Walmart of eateries.
So how's your week been, man?
So far so good. You know, a little bit hectic. It's I mean, you know, my day job is action packed and ultra exciting, and it's because anytime we go into a new month, we have to close the accounting, which I'm sure all the fans are super excited about, which is just about as excited as I am about it all.
Oh yeah, accounting. Yeah,
a little bit of a cluster F since we're episode.
Hey, that's okay, man. I get it.
It's happening.
I get it, man. You know, but then we get to break away and do some drag racing fun, right?
Yep, indeed.
Amen. Amen. So, welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday night. Depends on the weather. I'm there or not. Oh, depends on whether I'm there or not. Yeah, that's a good point. For sure. We certainly have a good night on our Thursday night podcasts are super fun, eh?
Tuesday.
Tuesday night is what I meant to say. Yeah, for sure.
Well, not the Thursday isn't fun as well.
It's Thursday is a good time. Thursday is a good time. So yeah, but it is happy Thursday. I don't know what the date today is, but it's like the dates are chugging along. Easter's gone.
It's the 4th.
On to the month of April and May, getting ready for Drag Wars in Montgomery. Pretty excited about Drag Wars, man.
Yeah, May the 4th will be upon us.
May the 4th will be upon us. Or
I said that not in line with the slogan of May the 4th be with us, but May the 4th is going to be upon us real quick because boy, the days are clipping by.
For a second, it sounded like you said May the 4th be upon us.
Well, I mean, to each their own. Everybody's got their thing.
Know. Yeah.
I'm not here to talk about that. That's what Tuesday's for.
Mm-hmm. That's the Tuesday Night Podcast.
That's
so
right.
If you have any idea what Tuesday Night Podcast is about, but that's Tuesday night's a little crazy.
A little bit
So,
weird.
yeah. You know, do you ever find yourself getting insomnia sometimes, like where you just can't sleep constantly?
Almost nightly.
Dude, I could not fall asleep. I think I went to bed at like 4 this morning, up all night, grinding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I don't know if it's the anticipation or maybe the buildup towards Drag Wars because it's getting so much momentum and it's like, okay, here we go again. We're right back in the saddle. You know, it's like that. You get sucked into it like a black hole, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of ironic that we're talking about that with, with Drag Wars, black hole, space, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, man, great call with Brad today. All week long, I know. Great call with Brad. Dude, is Brad just not a super cool guy, man?
Super cool, super even. I mean, there ain't no shaking that dude.
No, he's about as stoic as they come.
Yeah, I think if you see him anything outside of that, it's either overjoyed or you better run.
Right. You know, anytime now I think of like Renegade or, you know, anything Western or just like a stone cold anything like Brad Wheeler is the guy I'm thinking about. Like I just totally envision him with a cowboy hat on,
just some mammon all day,
leathers, you know, just some big ass, and his guns, you know, 45-inch barrel guns,
sure,
you know, like this.
No, yeah, it's got to match the beard.
45 with a 2-foot barrel, 2 of them on each side.
Yeah, may as well got to even yourself out.
Yeah, he's super cool. And then his partner Brian.
Yeah, I got to meet him today.
Yeah, and you know they got it together, man. They're running the shit out of that track, so they got big things ahead of them. So I'm not super familiar with Montgomery, other than what I've heard. I know that Montgomery has got a rich history. A lot of folks have talked about how great Montgomery is. There's a huge following down there for pro mods and all kinds of stuff. G-Body heads up, no time drag race, and just all and apparently it's like die hard stuff. Like their fans are, you know, they're thick down there. They come out of the woods, say, you know. But Montgomery apparently is just a huge racing town. You got the Dragway, got the Speedway, right? There's Montgomery International Speedway. Is that right? Aren't there 2 tracks? Speedway and a Dragway.
Yeah, it feels right.
Yeah, I'm not totally familiar with the area, but anyways, yeah, it was a great conversation with them, man. They got it together, you know, and it's nice. You would never know that Brad was a new track owner. Clearly, the guy has been drag racing his whole life. He's been around.
He's definitely familiar with the drag racing side, but no doubt about that.
You know, he did remind us, like, hey, you know, don't forget, I'm new at this too. And it's like, well, you sure to hell don't act like it.
Yeah, prove it.
Prove it. Prove you don't know what you're talking about.
But nope, it's been a good experience.
Yeah. So far, so good. So we're getting Drag Wars all knocked out. I have the rules. I have the schedule and payouts. Bad Bird, what's good, brother man? So payouts, schedule, and classes. Got everything put together. So we'll be releasing that tonight. We just finished the registration page on the FOAT, so that'll be going live I guess Adam's the gatekeeper on that. So whenever you decide to unlock it,
what do you need me to do?
Oh, I don't know.
Are the tickets themselves set up?
Oh no. Just
So
the pitch. Yeah. So
then I could probably have it going by, let's just say 9 p.m. Central Time. Would be up and rolling, and that'd be on the float, schedule payouts, class rules, everything like that. I mean, I don't know if there's any highlights on the rules that you'd want to mention. I know there was one thing I definitely noticed.
Yeah, for sure. So while we're talking about it, let's talk about it. So our three main classes for this event is, of course, our world renowned, our world famous OG classes: Pro Extreme, Pro Nitrous, Extreme Dragster. All right, those are going to be our three classes, and we've made a change to our Pro Extreme class. We will not have any weight minimums on Pro Extreme. So, we thought about it. We really kind of looked at a few things and realized that in the big scheme of things, this is outlaw drag racing. I mean, we're the OGs. We're the godfathers of 8th Mile Pro Mod outlaw drag racing. So we need to keep it that way, right? So we dropped the weights. So no weight minimums. So no weight minimums, no restrictions. It's run what you brung. And I want to address something real quick too. Why not just jump down this rabbit hole while we're at it? I made a post. Yeah, for sure. Scruggs and Moyer. Yeah, they can unleash for sure. Anything goes. That's right. So, one thing I want to talk about is I made a post last week about radials, right? In the Pro Extreme and Pro Nitrous class. And, you can look at it one or two ways. I think everybody's got their own lenses and everybody interprets things differently. But I just want to be clear that post was strictly about the idea of, and I'll tell everybody the premise of it. There's a racer, a well-known racer, competitor, who reached out and said, "Hey, I'm going to be busy the week before your event at XRP." Now, I'm only talking about XRP, right? So he says, "Hey, I'm going to be busy the week before XRP. We're going to be running radials. However, I don't have time to put slick tires on it and do some testing. So are you okay if I come straight from that event to XRP with radials?" And what, are you signaling something? Oh, what?
First guest is here and has a limited time.
Okay, great. We got 3 minutes.
Probably.
Or we can let's.
Well,
we can come back to
hard
that.
Out is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's jump into it. So without further ado, how about we introduce our next guest, Toby Baptiste, owner of Renegade Fuels. He's going to hop on here. He's in the airport right now. Actually, he's in his car. Toby, what's good, brother?
What's going on, guys? How are you all?
Oh, we're fantastic, man. How you hanging in there?
Hey, we are overcoming, and appreciate all the thoughts and prayers. And a lot of people reached out to us. We had a little incident at one of our plants, and thankfully, nobody was hurt. And the first responders did a great job. I know I sent you a video, right? And the way it looked, I thought the whole place was going down, and it actually only burned up about 20% of the plant. And we just got a clean bill of health from the EPA, the city of Bowling Green, and we're going to be opening our doors on Monday at that plant, man. What a comeback.
Nice. Wow.
So
Already.
Proud of our guys.
Well, that's impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, because that wasn't a little fire. I mean, that's, I think racing fuel, I'm like, I'm expecting like a pretty decent sized fire, but that's like shit you see on the news. That was a full on few 100-foot tall nuclear like it looked like a pretty serious. I mean, I know that's slightly embellished. It wasn't that huge, but it was a pretty big ordeal, man, just from the video, from what I see him.
Yeah, it was pretty big. And the thing, like a lot of people, they hear racing fuel and they think it's bad, right? And it's flammable. That's what we use. But the read vapor pressure on racing fuel is really, really low compared to 87 unleaded, right? You hear people trying to start a fire with regular gasoline, they get burned up because just the very vapors go whoosh, right? So when the booms you saw, the best that we could tell was we had some propane cylinders for our propane for our lifts,
Yeah.
and one of those went up. Right, you could see it, and so
Gotcha.
those propane cylinders that go on the forklifts, that's never good when those things go. And then it was the fire was starting to move to our 87 unleaded tank. We told it was like, hey, the race fuel is the least of our problems. It's that 87, and firefighters got right on it, man. Did an excellent job. The Bowling Green Fire Department, just golly, I'd put them against anybody. And the first responders there. So yeah, and thankfully too, with our growth we've had over the last few years, there's 6 different plants we have. So we're still going. So we're a little delayed on a few orders, but man, we're very thankful. And the doors in Bowling Green, the particular place where it happened, will be back open Monday. So we're excited about that.
Yeah,
Great.
That's a testament to your grit and your hard work and drive, brother. Like, just from knowing you in a short period of time I've known you, I'm not surprised at all that you didn't have a meltdown on half your factory and then it's open in 2 weeks later. Like that's some impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's the grit, man. It's the grit, and it's fun. We've had so much support. I love reading the dialogue you guys have, because I noticed you guys have found a funny way to combat some of the haters. And
Yeah,
I think out of all that, we had maybe 1 or 2 haters, and it was so cool to see some people. I call them our tribe, right? Our tribe that knows that we started from a 1-car garage and we're all about the grassroots guys. They came to our rescue. So I've often said, if you ain't got somebody that don't like you, you're not doing something right. So
yeah, that's true, right? The old saying that behind every leader's a pack of haters. So you gotta expect some haters, and you're doing something right for sure.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. But
so at the airport, huh? You headed out to do some more business. You're busy, man. You're traveling all over like crazy, aren't you?
yeah, I had to cancel some of the travels with what happened last Wednesday. And so, our safety and compliance team and our plant managers and stuff, they're just doing a fantastic job. Our head of our maintenance department, man, he's been with us. Gosh, Lee, he's probably got the longest tenure in the company right now. He's done just an excellent job. But, when you have something like that and the EPA says, man, you guys did a great job, and the water department of Bowling Green says you did a great job, and the first responder said you all did a great job, then we're proud that we needed 9 things to go right that day, and all 9 went right. So couldn't have done it with a great team and a great staff.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. So looking at the video that you sent me, it looked like a pretty decent sized fire, and you said that burned up maybe only 15-20% of the warehouse. So if you don't mind me asking, how big is that warehouse? That, to kind of put it in perspective, how big is that particular warehouse?
Let's see here. We got several plants, so I don't remember the square footage of that warehouse. So if you looked at that video I sent you, Ryan, so you saw there's a front office and then a big warehouse hooked to it, and then behind the it looked worse than what it was, and if it wasn't for the fire department, the place literally should have burned to the ground. So
Right.
when you look at the video I sent you and kind of what it looks like today, it's really just an amazing deal that that's all that got hurt. So I don't know the exact. We just estimated it's probably more like, when I think about the size, it's probably about 15% back there, and we're thankful it didn't take the main warehouse out. So the extension part behind the warehouse is what is totally gone.
Well, I hope it doesn't take long for you guys to recover from that. Hopefully it was just kind of minimal and didn't really impact much of your operation. It sounds like you got 5 other warehouses. So in the big scheme of things, it seems like you're able to, kind of keep operations. You might be slightly delayed, but it sounds like everything's going good. So that's good to hear. Thank God nobody got hurt. Everybody's good to go. You guys are bobbing and weaving to make things happen. Toby should come join us at a race. He has You
Yep.
missed
He
it.
walked away with a
He
check at the
walked
last
away
one.
with a check and a trophy. Let
we
me tell
we
you.
haven't had him on since then. That's a perfect segue.
Well, listen, I got an update for who was that posted that?
That was Nick Rabe.
Nick
All
Rabe.
right, my man Nick, I'm going to be in Montgomery. We'll do it then when we have
Damn
the team meeting, and maybe that'll be a good time too, fellas. We talk about the contingency program we pay too, because a lot of companies they'll do contingency, but it's like, hey, you got to win at this national event or this big race. We decided to do a contingency program that, man, I don't care where you race. I don't care if it's at the ADRL, the NHRA, at your local Friday, Saturday, mom and pop local track. If you win, you got a proof of purchase and you got a decal on your car. You can submit that to the website, and we're going to reward the racers anytime, any place, anywhere. So
nice.
that's what we're all about with that program. So
that's amazing, man.
We can share that with the racers next. Yeah, we can share that with the racers next time too when we're down there in Montgomery with the ADRL guys.
Well, and I'll tell you what too. I had a few guys ask me while we were down there as far as fuel. I'd imagine that every track is selling fuel. I don't know if each track individually is sponsored by a particular fuel brand, and then that's what they sell at their track, or maybe they buy it cheap and sell it to the racers. Honestly, I don't know how that works. However, I did have, and I brought one of them to you, but there's, it seems like there's guys walking around like, hey man, I could use some fuel. And I'm thinking, well, don't they know that the tracks have fuel, or is that not commonplace? Or maybe they would prefer not to spend what they are being charged at the track. I don't know how it works. So
can I give some input on that? Just for those that are on here. So what? That's one thing we're trying to combat here a little bit, and we're making a lot of progress on it. Okay, so what happens? I'm going to use generally. Okay, is racetracks will cut a deal with a race fuel company. Okay, and some race fuel companies out there, okay, I'll use the word some, will tie down a racetrack to like this 5-year contract, right?
Yeah,
and they come in day one, man, we're going to give you this and we're going to give you that, and it looks good on the front end, and the racetrack signed the deal, they get this front end stuff, but what they don't realize is they're literally, getting their britches jerked around their ankles, man, over that 5-year period. And so what happens is if a retail price, let's just throw out something easy. Okay. If it's supposed to be $9 a gallon, let's just use that. You go to the racetrack, and then the racetrack's having to sell that same gallon of fuel for $11 a gallon or $12 a gallon because they're having to make up for accelerated prices they're having to pay because of what they did, at the first of that contract. Okay. And then what happens is the racers get to the racetrack and they got a bad taste in their mouth because they're having to overpay for fuel. So,
gotcha.
I often tell folks, if something's too good to be true on the front end and you got to lock yourself down for 5 years, you got to think about, is that company you're partnering with, are they going to actually give you the best price through that 5-year duration? Does that make sense?
Sure. So it doesn't sound like they're locking in any kind of prices. It sounds like they're giving them the whole they're grooming them at the beginning and kind of doing the whole marriage thing, right? They're hitting that whole I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but initially they're giving them the works, right? They're giving the farm away, but then there's nothing contractually saying that price is going to stay the same. And then quickly, or maybe not quickly, I don't know, but over time, those prices go up and up and up and up. They're still needing to make the margin, and prices are just ridiculous at that point, right? So that's kind of how it works in a very basic sense.
Yeah. And when I talk about racetracks getting taken advantage of, and honestly, the racetracks get taken advantage of sometimes in these situations. Okay. And when I, having the britches jerked in the wrong way, it's almost like you're holding them hostage is a better way of putting it. Okay.
Gotcha.
There's going to be price increases and decreases with fuel. It's just, nothing stays the same.
That's the nature of it.
But
sure.
Right.
But if our costs go up to the racetrack 50 cents a gallon or 25 cents a gallon, then it should go up to the racer 25 cents a gallon. But if the market goes up 25 cents a gallon, then over 5 years, that 25 cents a gallon really turns into $2 a gallon to the racetrack when it shouldn't be, then that gets passed off to the racer. And now the racer's having to pay for accelerated fuel charges that shouldn't be there. And the other part too is like bulk tanks at racetracks. Who knows how long that fuel's been in that tank? When has that tank been serviced? When has it been cleaned? When has the fuel filters been changed? So you'll have some high-end racers. Points. Yeah, you'll have high-end racers that are like, man, I got $50,000 or $80,000 tied into a race motor. Do I want to trust that? So when we do a deal with our racetracks, we will not do 5-year contracts. We just won't do them. If there's equipment involved, we might have to do a short-term contract or a short-term agreement. But we have the adage that if I've got to lock somebody down for 5 years, that's a problem anyways, if I have to make them do business with me. If we give them freedom and we give them a great product and a great service and a fair price where they can make money, I don't need to lock anybody down. They'll just choose to do business with us. And that's why when you talk to our racetracks that we do these partnerships with, they've been with us a long time on fuel. They love our service. They're able to make money, because they got a racetrack to run, right? Right. We all got a business to run, but they're able to give the racer a fair, competitive price, and it's good for everybody. So, I always tell racers all the time, a 55-gallon drum is no different than a 1,000-gallon tank. It's just a smaller version of a tank. Okay. So if you get loose gallons out of a drum, say 5 gallons or 10 gallons, in my opinion, that fuel is going to be more fresh out of a drum than 55 gallons sitting in a big 1,000-gallon tank with air space in it. And then if you want a barrel, it's sealed. So then it's fresh too if you buy it by the barrel, because race fuel, hey, it's like fine bourbon. It needs to be fresh. It needs to be crisp because, that's what you're burning through your race motors, and it needs to be consistent every time you buy it.
So when you sell or offer fuel to racers, does it come with any type of certificate or testing? Like, do you go through any kind of process where you've tested the fuel that you're giving them, or is there any kind of process like that happens just so there's like that additional peace of mind that they're getting, like, oh, this is the paper, the testing that happened from this batch, so we know it's really good shit. It may not be it at all. You brought up bourbon, so in my mind, I'm thinking you're testing the bourbon, the whole thing,
Yeah, we do. We have internal testing, and then we have external independent testing too that we both do. So we have a lab. We have our own lab at the plant, and then we have an external lab so we can have an independent person look at that. Because what'll happen sometimes is somebody will get a sample of fuel, and the sample of fuel is really spiked up to do some awesome things, right, to impress somebody for the sampling process. But then when they go to buy the barrel, it's different, right? And that's not fair to the racer. If a racer is going to get a 5-gallon pail and test their motor, get their stuff tuned up, well, the barrel they buy or the fuel they buy, it needs to be consistent because they've already spent a lot of time and effort to do their tune-ups on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah, that's so back to your contingency plan, man. I think that's outstanding, especially for the racers. And I look forward to figuring out a way that we can help facilitate some things at the tracks, as long as, again, being new at this, I'm not trying to undermine or step on anybody's toes when it comes to the track. Like, hey, we're going to sell our own shit. Forget you. I don't know how it works, but
through the ADRL channel, we can at least help spread the word.
For sure. So, we'd love to have that conversation during the racers meeting here in Montgomery, and kind of throw it out there and let them know what we got going on, because, whatever's good for the racers is good for the sport, so we want to kind of keep that kind of spirit going, I appreciate that, Toby.
Yeah. Our biggest thing is we want the racers, we work from the racers back, right? So We want the racers to get the most consistent quality product at a fair price. We have had folks like tried our nitrous fuel and love it, and they've said, man, your prices are way better. Is that okay? And our response to that is, well, we could mark something up $250 more a drum than what it really needs to be and put our name on
Right.
every billboard across America. But we have the feeling that we would rather give the racers a fair deal and let them spend their money how they want to spend it, instead of us have ridiculous markups and spend it for them. And so we work from the racer back. Best quality product, fair price. And with the racetracks, man, I'm passionate about the racetracks because people think racetracks are getting rich like hand over fist. Go look how many racetracks have been shutting down over the years. It's a lot of work to operate a racetrack. It's a lot of work to operate a series. So I don't want the racetracks getting taken advantage of either, because if all the racetracks shut down, we're not going to have a place to race, and you guys aren't going to have a series, right?
That's
so
right.
We got to keep them healthy. So I'm passionate about racetracks not being taken advantage of.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you're 100% right, man. We got to take care of the people and keep it flourishing. And I love that you're building the organization organically, right? Not a whole bunch of giant advertising. It's all essentially word of mouth or referrals per se, but that's kind of where you're at. That's how you keep your price point where it's at. That's how, you build the company on a solid foundation. And, I mean, I see you all over the place. I mean, shit, you guys sponsor Monster Jam, or the official rules of Monster Jam. It's kind of a big deal. If you ask me, I don't know. I'm a Monster Jam fan. So, when you got kids, you got to love it. Well, and then being from St. Louis, I mean, we're Bob Chandler fans. I mean, we love Bigfoot here in St. Louis. So, I grew up in the 80s. So, you love that stuff. But no, that's fantastic, man. Well, hey, Toby, we appreciate you coming on and kind of give us an update on your fire and how great that ended up. Not how great it ended up being, but how mitigated any kind of issues were that you guys had. And look forward to seeing you.
The trophy from Georgia looks great on the shelf too.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, and Toby too, send me your address you'd like me to send your plaque to, so we can get that on your trophy for you, because I have it made.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good, man. No, it's all good, brother. And
we know you've been busy.
Yeah, no shit. Not even phasing that. But we'll look forward to seeing you in Montgomery, man, and looking at your beautiful dragster again. And spread the word, brother. Spread the word. Let's get as many. Let's just blow that class up. I keep getting emails and Facebook messages about the class. So, I'm looking forward to seeing the momentum for it and giving you guys a full 16 field. So you guys just run the hell out of each other. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go drag wars, baby.
Amen, baby. All right, Toby.
Man. See you guys.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
See you, Toby.
Guys. Okay. Bye.
All right. Love that guy. Such a nice dude, man. About as genuine as they come. Good old boy.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick. I didn't see your comment. I'm multitasking. I'm talking to our next guest by text, whose computer decided to start updating a little bit ago, and it's still in process, which that's just the way computers love to do it. So he'll be here as soon as he can. But
awesome.
Yeah, sorry I didn't get that up in time. But if nothing else, shoot Toby an email or message or anything like that. He'll be down in Montgomery, and he'll be more than happy to talk to any racer or anybody that's looking to learn something more about Renegade and any of the benefits that comes along with that sponsorship.
Yeah, and I'm a huge proponent of surrounding yourself with successful organizations. My expedition runs 8. Hell yeah. 8's in the mile. 8 minutes. And anyways, I don't know. It must be springtime, dude, because I feel like I'm sucking in pollen left and right. Not in my house, but I've been choking on pollen all day. It's crazy.
Well, you would be correct. It is April 4th, so it's actually springtime.
That
so
explains it. I don't know. I feel like I've been in the dungeon for ages now. I feel like I've been in the dungeon, like we've been grinding for 6 months, sitting in a hole. But is what I was going to say. Butter. Ask any racer, any real racer. It don't matter.
If you win by an inch,
win's a win. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Oh, so I wanted to go back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
about the that post I made about radials. So, as a promoter, you're not always going, the goal as a promoter is to bring some awareness to your brand, right? And bring some awareness to what you got going on. And it's polarizing sometimes. Sometimes it's not politically correct. Sometimes it's just polarizing. You can't. So when you post things, sometimes, when you post things, I like doing it sometimes in more of an ambiguous way where it's not absolutely clear what it is that I'm saying, and it creates engagement, and engagement's important for any brand on social media. So if you got a brand on social media, you know what I'm talking about. The more likes, the more interaction, the more comments, the more it brings attention. Like on that one particular post, I think we gained like 40 new followers just from that one post itself. But I did want to touch base on it. So the intent was, I had a racer, again, we had a racer reach out to us who is a radio racer, and he's very well known. And he said, hey, there's an event the week prior to XRP when you guys are going to be at XRP in November. I won't have time to put a slick tire on and do any testing. So would you care if I brought my car to XRP, put a radial on it, and ran with you guys? And I said, well, I don't have a problem with that. I was like, we won't be prepping the track for radial. However, we all know how Galen preps Clyde's tracks. So
far off.
Either way, it's going to be prepped really, really well.
Yeah.
And he was confident, hey, maybe in the day, if it's warm, I may not do so hot, but I can tune it for the track. I said, okay. And he goes, and I think that when it gets cooler, I might be able to whoop up on some people.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, okay. So when I made that post, it was more or less like, hey, look, if the track is being prepped for slick tire, that's it. Pro Extreme, Pro Nitrous, Extreme Dragster, slick tires. That's what we run. That's it. We're not RVW or we're not lights out. This isn't a radial series, as everybody knows. If somebody wants to bring a car and put some radials on it, I don't have a problem with them doing it. I think they're smart enough at this level of racing to know whether or not it's going to be a good idea.
Yeah, that's kind of up to them. They know the condition. I mean, I could go play rugby on a football field. They're pretty similar. They're not too far off, but it's not exact. But
right.
As I know that, I can't find a rugby field here.
So a car that's running 50s and 60s, I don't think they're going to waste their time to haul their shit halfway across the country with radials to run with us, knowing that they're not going to be able to make it down the track.
Yeah, they're not going to waste their time or hurt their car.
And just so the people that were all freaked out about the post, saying they're scared to run next to guys with radials and it's dangerous. Look, at this level, these guys know what they're doing. Excuse my French. These guys know what the hell's going on, right? So I trust that anybody at that level of racing that decides they want to put a radial tire on their car and come race in November at XRP, I'm totally fine with it, because I know that this particular individual, call the police if you're scared. I know this particular individual is very capable and competent in tuning a car to
somebody's going to make it happen.
Competitive. Yeah, exactly.
He'd be in that group.
Yeah. So that was the post regarding radials. If you want to put a radial tire on your car and come run with us, it's not a big deal. Feel free. Just know that it's prepped for a slick tire and not a radial tire. It was great how that post exploded.
Maybe roller hockey on an ice rink would have been a better example. But either way, we got it.
Roller hockey on an ice rink. Yeah, for sure. So, hey, that whole post. So once we get this registration going, we don't want to get behind the ball. We got 4 weeks, about 5 weeks before the event. No, actually, this week's gone. It's 4 weeks at this point.
We're at April 4th now, and the first day of racing is May 3rd. So I feel like we're at about 29 to 30 days mathematically.
Every day has different months, and depending on how you look at it, when you thought we were a month out, we were actually 6 weeks out. So, So when we look at this, we actually have 1, 2, 3, we have 4 weeks. 4 full weeks until the event. That doesn't include today, Friday, Saturday, Friday, or Saturday. So we got, yeah. So with that being said, I'm looking at it by weeks. Once we get this registration done, please go on there. We want to get a good idea how many guys are going to show up. So go to the FOAT. We want you guys to register. Let's get it in there, get it knocked out. And then we're working on a filler class. We're kind of tossed between a couple different ones, but you know what? In the big scheme of things, I really like the box, no box bracket racing. Why? Everybody was solid. No one had shit boxes. They're fast when you need them to come to the line. They're there when you call them. They're fast. They're ready. They're ready to rock and roll. So I think we're going to do another bracket race, and it's got good following down there as well. So we're just going to build up these. We're going to build up the spectators. We're going to have a super fantastic event. We're doing a lot of marketing similar to what we did at SGMP, and we will have a great time. And don't forget, it's Drag Wars. So as everybody can tell, I'm getting my Obi-Wan Kenobi on. I know we had that played that little game last week.
Yeah.
Who was I going to be? Obi-Wan Kenobi. Getting the beard coming in a little bit.
We'd gotten in touch with Bruce, the winner of that bet, and he, in lieu of receiving the money, he's actually putting it up for anyone in Montgomery that has perfect reaction time and wins their round.
Really?
Yeah, that was in his email.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was also reaching out to the public to solicit anybody else who'd like to possibly throw in on that and make it a little bit more exciting.
So can you explain the parameters around that again? Anybody with a perfect tree reaction?
Email. That's probably about. I said I could read his email to you. That's about the best explanation I could give you.
Yeah.
Give me a second because I'm working on a couple different things here.
Oh, okay. Here, let me pull it up.
I got to text the link over to our guest because the laptop just isn't getting exactly where he's looking to go just yet.
All right, let's take a look here. So yes, we are doing a costume contest. I'll be dressed up as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we will be doing cash prizes for anybody that decides to participate with that. It's going to be a great time. I love it. It's going to be a party. I know a lot of people are going to show up. They have no idea we're having a costume party. They're going to be like, what the hell's wrong with this promoter? He's like dressed up.
Yeah.
Some type of, what is he, a monk or some shit? What is this guy? Yeah, I'm a monk that believes in drag racing as the future of our spirits. The ADRL is home of the professional 8-mile outlaw drag racing. Anything goes. Blowers, nitrous, and raw brute force. Rawr. Rawr. Put your readers on, old man. That's why I have them. That's why I have them. Oh, are you gonna be Princess Leia? Is that what's happening? Glenn Hill be wearing a thong. Yeah, dress up as Princess Leia. That'd be hilarious. Oh my gosh. And that, you know what, man? I think that's what drag racing is missing right now. I see a lot of the fun happening in the pits sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like I've been to 3 major events so far this year, and there just wasn't that kind of. It just seemed very uptight, and I can't really think of the word. It just seemed very uptight. It didn't seem really kind of laid back, where everybody was having a good time, playing jokes on each other, doing whatever, playing cornhole or bags, whatever, right? Like
a little light.
This needs to be like a frat party at these events, man. All right. Well, as I like to say, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. John Sullivan, the landlord. What's up, brother?
Hey guys, what's going on?
What's good, man? There's that big old awesome beautiful shop you got there, bro. Oh my gosh. Love it.
Yeah, it's pretty nice having a good place to work now.
Yeah, for sure. So do you keep any of your equipment in there, like your farming equipment?
No. That's right down the road. This is only a hobby shop, I guess, toy shop.
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha. Yeah,
Man.
that's awesome, man. So what have you been doing since our race at SGMP? Is it like farming season fully kicked off where you're at, or is that year round? Or
Yeah, we've been getting ready. We've been doing like some spraying, burn down type stuff, and hopefully we start planting some soybeans tomorrow. Kind of get that going, get as much behind us before the next race.
Gotcha. So you guys plant soybean. Do you guys raise any kind of livestock or anything like that as well?
We got to have a livestock business. We grow soybeans, corn, cotton, wheat, and purple hull peas.
Oh, purple.
Never even heard of
peas.
that.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
So they're kind of like black-eyed peas.
Oh man,
Okay, well, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
yeah. No wonder Adam hasn't heard of it. He's like,
I'm a selective eater, is what I like to call it, because picky is too derogatory.
I love beans myself, as a matter of fact.
I like that.
So let's get to Montgomery, man. So hey, first off, appreciate you coming out, man. You've been running with the ADRL and a lot of series for a long time. How long have you been racing now, just from a pro mod standpoint?
I guess you'd probably say since 08-ish, maybe we started kind of dabbling in the pro mod. 07, 08. Had a little nitrous car. It's actually sitting right back there, the black one.
Oh, that thing's sweet, man.
Yeah, it's it wasn't super fast, but we would show up and actually did pretty well with it. And my father and I were both racing 2 cars at that time. Then we just kind of since then got faster and faster, ran some pro charged Hemi stuff in the NMCA for a while. Then I guess 2012, we decided to get a full-blown pro mod deal, and haven't looked back since then.
Amen, brother. So when was your first experience with the ADRL?
Oh Lord, I was it was probably in that. Well, I ran probably 2010 or so.
Okay.
A few events. We weren't competitive at all. They were going a lot quicker than we were at the time, but we still went and had fun.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, that was kind of as it was, on its climb up per se.
Completely.
Were you involved at all? Did you do any of the stuff over in Qatar? Did you do any of that stuff over in the Middle East?
No, I didn't. That time of year we're pretty busy on the farm, so we can't unload and go across the world.
Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah, that's probably not a little quick jaunt. You're literally putting your shit on a ship, and that's probably takes 3 or 4 days just to get everything over there, I'd imagine.
Sure, yeah. I have some friends that did, some small time racers that are really good friends of mine, and they actually went over there and got to experience that. So that was a really neat deal for them.
Yeah. So is Montgomery, is that where are you at exactly? Where do you live, or where's your farm?
Pretty close to Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're about 40 miles east of the river there in Memphis, out in the next county over.
Oh, okay. Right on. Yeah.
But,
so
we've raced at Montgomery for years. That's our closest, I guess you'd call it, big track.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I love Tennessee, man. That's now Nashville sucks. Not gonna lie. I mean, every time I drive through there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this traffic is crazy through here. It reminds me of Atlanta. Well, actually, it's not near as bad.
Not near as bad as Atlanta. That was next level, but it reminds me of St. Louis.
When we went to South Georgia, I went through Atlanta at midnight, and I never had to slow down. So that was
well, you know what? Adam and we actually did have the luxury of experiencing that. Our flight, when we went to Ducks race, lights out at SGMP, we landed at Atlanta at like 9:30 and then had to drive 3 hours down to Adele. And, you're right. At midnight, there ain't nobody out there.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's just you're hitting it going. Let's talk about your car. So Montgomery's coming up. We've gotten a lot of people asking about registration. So we're getting the FOAT registration put up so everybody will be able to go on there and do the registration. But from a competitor standpoint, and I kind of been asking everybody about this, what's your biggest draw to an event? Like, because there's a lot of stuff going on, right? You got the PDRA, you got the Midwest, and I don't know the names of all these guys. Keith Haney's organization, the Midwest Pro Mods, I think is what they're called.
Yeah, it's got great series.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really great series out there. So for you as a competitor and somebody that loves to get out there, because I'm sure it's like an addiction, what is your draw to an event? Because for me, it's like you want to be able to provide a service to the racers, right? Like you want to be able to give them something that they want to come participate in, right? And that could be a gamut of everything, whether it's the purses, whether it's the environment, whether it's entry fees, whether out-of-pocket costs, travel, whatever it is. They may have a point series and you're racing for a championship. From your perspective, what is your biggest draw when you're deciding on where or who you want to run with?
The rules, really. The car that we have was was built as a lightweight, no rules, run what you brung car, and it's hard to stack enough weight on there to be able to run in one of those series. And that's the main thing we look for. And of course the travel. We're operating the farm. There's not a lot of employees on our farm. We have a few that are great. We got a great team here, but it's hard to get away for me to go travel and be off a week somewhere.
It makes sense.
Just we're very hands-on at work, so it's I need to be able to get there Friday or Thursday night or Friday and race for Friday, Saturday, and get back home so I can get back to work. Yeah,
no, that makes total sense. You know what? It's so much fun walking around the pits and talking to you guys. When I see you, you're always smiling, man. You're happy as shit. And it's like, that's just like it's good for the soul when you're around people that are just happy doing what they love. Right. And then you got Hank Stubbs walks around the corner, right? And he's just smiling, and everybody's just happy as shit. And Bubba, SGMP was just so fantastic. The competitors are really super cool, man. When we talk about these events moving forward, it's really important that everybody has a good time, from the competitors to the spectators, right? And the goal is, and we will get back to those days of 10, 20, 30,000 people in the stands. It's going to take some time. The ADRL has that rich history that no one else has. The record-breaking spectator attendance, just the everything about it, right? So the goal is to get back to that. So, we're super grateful that you participate, that you're there, and everybody else that is coming to compete as well, man. So I want to say that we do genuinely appreciate you guys being there, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling. I hope XRP isn't too far for you.
No, I'm actually going there not this weekend, but the following weekend. I'm actually going out there to run. So
yes, good. All right, thank God, man. Yeah, fantastic.
So we'll be out there running, and then hopefully everything goes well out there. I just need a little more test session because South Georgia was the first time we'd ran our new combination in the car, so it was kind of a cluster, so we got a little learning to do. I'm going to go out to Ferris and try to figure that out, to XRP, and get ready for Montgomery.
Okay. Are there any tracks that in your mind between, say, let's say like SGMP, Montgomery, and Ferris, Texas, is there anything a little bit Midwest or North, like in Arkansas or Mississippi, Louisiana, anywhere in that area? Any other tracks that the ADRL should be considering to kind of put a flag in and make it kind of a home track for future races for any of the drag racers in the Midwest, like around where you're at?
There's a and I haven't been there in years, but there's Gulfport, Mississippi has got a nice quarter-mile track. I think they've done a lot of improvements to try to update that facility. Baton Rouge has State Capitol. It's a really nice, big facility. It's
really
a track, so it's just super nice. Been really fast there. There's
I've never even heard of those two tracks.
Oh yeah, and then I think it's Belle Rose down in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. It's
okay.
Super nice big track, and it's down there in Cajun country. It's down at the bottom.
Oh, it does get down there, huh? It's hot.
Hey, the good thing about when you go down to like a State Capitol or all the ones down south there is, man, they feed you well.
Yeah, right.
Asian cooking floating around everywhere down there.
Oh, it's so good, man. The spices and the gumbo, and man, I'm good for any of the andouille sausage and the shrimp and whatever else you could throw in that gumbo and make it as hot as possible.
That's right. That's right. My
Man.
son's on here telling me it's Bell Rose. It's Bell Rose.
Bell Rose. What about what's that one, Adam? Man, I just met the owner.
I was going to say Gulfport. We know of. We had a conversation with Gulfport.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
If you
that's
recall
right.
that
I
one.
do recall. Yeah, no, that actually just triggered that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I do remember that. US 41 Dragway, US 60
US
Dragway.
41 and 131 have been thrown out a couple times. Michigan and Indiana, if I recall right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever been to those because that's kind of Michigan's a haul.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no, that's way up
But
there.
Michigan would be one of those June, July, August type consideration races to avoid that. I mean, I could tell you, we went down June 30th last year down to XRP. Whew, not
Yes,
again.
Whoa, boy, that was hot as shit.
We were
man.
a week and a half before a heat wave broke out, and we were hurting. So I can only imagine what it was after we left.
Yeah. Well, I'll be happy. It'll be nice running down there in November. I mean, you're not scared to run next. John, you would not scared to run next to somebody in November if they want to put a radial on their car and try to make it down the track. Does that scare you to compete against somebody in the lane next to you with a radial tire on them?
Against John Force if he's another lane. Line that thing up. Let's go.
You're like, it don't matter.
I'm usually not the fastest there, but I mean, I'm going to go,
You're like, I invite them. Yeah. Anybody wants to put a radial on their car and come run, that'd be great.
I had the I guess you'd say the honor running against Kevin Kinsley in his fuel altered, the War Wagon down at XRP, maybe last year before in the fuel altered versus pro mod race.
Nice.
And
That's super cool.
That was a pretty awesome event. I mean, it was like my car shut off. I could not hear my car. I had to look at the tack and make sure I still had RPM because that fuel alter was over there beside me cackling, and it was just shaking my whole car. And
Did we?
So impressive.
I'm wondering, did we do that, Adam, in June? I know we had fuel altereds at XRP for our event, and I don't know. Did we run any of the pro mods against the fuel?
You are asking the wrong guy. That was my first drag race event I'd ever been to, and I'm showing up there. I'm supposed to try to figure out how to film this thing. It was my first time filming an event. Get out of here. I don't remember much except hot.
Oh, that's great. So give us a breakdown real quick. So what are you running in that beautiful Corvette you got, man?
So I've got a new PJS Hemi. Brandon and Cole Pez, they hooked me up with this new program. Got on board with them pretty early with it. Of course, got my C-rotor screw blower, and I went with a full-blown Fuel Tech EFI.
All right. Did you go to school to kind of learn? Because I know that Luis they got the schools going on. You can go down there and.
Yeah, I have not. Brandon has kind of showed me a few things with it, and then Luis was at South Georgia there helping us, kind of give me a baseline on some stuff and a quick tutorial on everything, and I've just been kind of winging it.
Yeah. And I mean, you've had some success, man. I mean, you made some great solid passes there at SGMP.
Yeah, it was so lazy. It was almost embarrassing, as lazy as it was going down. It's like, we got some A to B and got some data, and that was the main goal for the weekend there.
Yeah. Is it from a competitive standpoint, whenever you're tuning a vehicle, when you get a new tune and some new equipment on it, would you rather build your way up, or does it matter whether you get out there and blow the tires off your car and have to back it down, or whether you're starting off kind of laid back and build into it? Is there a preferred way to go into how you're tuning your car for, when you go run it?
For me personally, I would much rather just make A to B passes and safe, and that you got enough fuel in it. You're not too lean. You don't want to burn anything up right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Anytime you can go down the racetrack, that's data. If you go out there and knock the tires off, I mean, it's data, but it was kind of useless. You don't know where to back it up to.
That makes total sense. Do you run a slick in your I mean, I don't know if I'm asking questions that people like to try to keep to themselves. You know, I don't know. I've got an engineering mind, although I'm not an engineer, but I come by it. I'm genetically predisposed to always. It's just how my brain works. Do you run an inner tube in your slicks or no?
I did. I used to run the inner liner.
Inner liner.
Yep. And now we've gone to the new wheel, the 16 by 18, and we're just running a double bead lock.
So it's an 18-inch tire.
Yeah, 18-inch wheel, yeah.
Or wheel, sorry.
18 wide. So it's 16-inch diameter, 18 wide.
Okay, gotcha. How wide is the actual slick that you guys are putting on that rim?
We're running like a 36 by 17.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's about what I have on my Weekend Warrior out in the garage. People are like, damn, look at that tire. I'm like, yeah. How big is that? I'm like, I don't know, like 17 inches. Damn. You know, it's crazy to see it cruising down the road. Everybody's
it looks way more impressive going down the road.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sitting at a stoplight, everybody's like, what is that thing? So yeah, that sounds like you got it going on. What do you think about the new Fuel Tech stuff? I've heard nothing but great reviews about the Fuel Tech stuff.
It is amazing. It really is. I was very nervous going into it. There's so many, like when you open up that laptop and you go into this program, it's like overload. But when I get down to like, hey, John, these are the 5 things that you need to be looking at. Don't worry about all that other stuff. It's nice. So it's really simple. They did a great job making it user friendly. They're constantly updating, making the software better. And the fact that I can easily send a run right off their system on the Fuel Tech cloud, and if I need to send it to somebody to get help with something, super easy to do.
Oh, that's cool. So you can actually take your laptop, take your data, upload it to the cloud, and then have somebody help you.
Yeah, right there.
And say, hey, this is what's going on. They'll look at your data, and I mean, it's ingenious, man.
Oh yes, it's amazing. It's just right. I mean, it's just a simple click of a button right there, and it's done. So
it's interesting to see these companies, and it's just, I guess, the future of business in general, to see folks coming from like, the old school mechanical stuff, right? Old school mechanical carburetors and just in general mechanical, to now you're introducing computer ran stuff. And I'm sure computers have been used for a long time, but now these companies are sort of turning into tech companies. You know what I mean? Like they're not just mechanical equipment anymore. Like Fuel Tech is actually transitioning into being a tech forward company where it's a lot of computer driven software and technology. It's not just like a carburetor,
and I think they're so advanced and stay ahead of everything. They're constantly updating. If there's something new that you want or you think might benefit it, all you got to do is pick up the phone, call them, send them an email, say, hey, let's try this, and they'll try it in testing stuff before they release it for general public use. It's
It was interesting because I shared something Luis had shared, and it was like, oh, here's a new tune and whatever, and he posted it on Facebook, and I thought, wow, that's so cool, man. It's like he can just release tunes to people, and it's like, oh, I'll just download this tune for my shit, like it's super cool. Yeah, I really think that it's a new era per se of mechanics. So do you do all your own work yourself?
Yes and no. I try to now. I had a guy for years that helped us, Donnie Sykes. He was part of our team, kind of like our crew chief, car chief, did everything. He'd come down to get the car ready to go through the week, and we just kind of show up. He spoiled me very much. But now he's kind of retired. He's going to still come with us some and everything, but just not as much as he was, because he was kind of probably getting abused a little bit.
Oh yeah, no shit, right?
But he, great guy, doesn't live far from us here. Still come and help me anytime I need it. But I do a lot of the stuff. But if it's anything major, we don't have time, so I'll take it out and I'll send the engine back to Brandon. If anything major, I've got the supercharger sent out right now, getting serviced, trying to get it ready to go because just want to make sure all the bearings are good in it and everything. Because it's crazy expensive as those things have gotten lately. It's kind of like,
Oh my
take care of that.
gosh. I romanticize the idea of building a pro mod, having a pro mod one day and racing it. However, I feel like there's an appropriate process to getting into one of those cars.
Yeah, it's not just something you just step into.
Yeah, right. However, speaking of which, how did you end up getting into a pro? Did you grow up drag racing yourself, and then as a teenager you did some street? Like, how did that look like, over your lifetime when it got into? How'd you end up in a pro mod?
So my father started racing back in the 70s. Kind of street racing around here, and then evolution started just getting faster and faster cars and everything. And when I graduated college, I bought this car that's sitting back here from him, the Beretta that's back here. And I just started kind of 470 racing that car. And
that's pretty quick.
Yeah, did that. My first pass not in a race car. I'd been decently fast before, but when I put that car together, first pass was like 475. And I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Wow.
But,
yeah.
We just kind of progressed from there. Man, I used to sit, when I was in college, I would sit in my dorm room and all I do is like look at racing junk at pro mods. Like, man, I wasn't one of those, man. And I would follow like the ADRL guys, like, with Scruggs and Stanton. And,
Ricky Smith.
Yeah. Bill Clanton, man, Dwayne Watkins, all those guys. They were just, I mean, that's all I did. Probably more than I did schoolwork, was sit around and watch that. And I was like, man, one day I want to do that. And then, it just kind of wound up to where we were there.
Oh man, how great is it that you got to a point to where you have the opportunity to actually get to race with some of those guys?
Oh yeah, it's a funny story, and it would probably kill me, but we were racing at I think it was Huntsville one time, and I got kind of right when the first year or so I was running. Man, that first year I came out on a roots blown car, we killed it around the local tracks. We were winning. I mean, it was just one of those years where it just came together.
Yeah.
We got out and I ran Bill Clanton, big money, and I got out and said, man, this is so cool. I grew up watching y'all, and I just to get to race you's, so awesome. He's like, well, I wish you'd go home.
I wish you'd go.
He told me that at the end of the track. I think he was joking, but
oh yeah. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, like, this is a cool moment for me. Don't go ruining it.
Yeah, never ruin it.
But,
that's hilarious.
It's really a good deal, man. My father, he's still involved with the racing team. My son, my daughter, they both race. So
really?
Yeah, my son, he had a '68 Camaro Pro Mod car, and he's in college, so we sold it last year till he gets out of college and kind of gets going. He's finishing up school. And my daughter's she got sponsored. She was junior dragster racing, so she turned 16 tomorrow. She was
happy birthday.
Racing. And one of my good friends, I went to look at a car that he had, and he was like, y'all just take this thing and drive it. Let her drive it. So he sponsored her freaking car. So she's got a 63 Vet that looks identical to mine.
No way.
Yep. And it'll be a top sportsman type car at 16. So we got to finish putting engine in it here soon. So we'll have it out this year.
Now, not to sound totally ignorant, but I am still a little ignorant. There's just so many classes, and I'm trying to get so top sportsman, is that a naturally aspirated car? Or
so top sportsman is kind of, you can run any combination. It's basically super fast bracket racing. There's some top sportsman cars that are running 380s. It's insane.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's kind of like it's what it is. It's super fast bracket racing.
It's just super fast bracket racing.
Yep.
You get your timed runs, you're dialing in your time, and it's just the whole thing. It's just like bracket racing, but just with super fast cars.
Yep, I see my kids are on there arguing now.
Oh yeah, I'm making sure I get them up there.
almost a pro mod. I mean, 380s.
They're literally pro mod cars that are slowed down a little in bracket racing.
Well, shit. If you ask me, 380 is a pro mod car. I mean,
and it's flying for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's
insane. It's insane that people can nowadays go out and run 370s, 380s, and dial the dang thing in bracket race.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean, I can see I can see the coolness of that class of
Yes.
that, where you have to dialing in a 380. There's so much shit that could go wrong with that. That's got to be, that's like an elite level of bracket racing.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, it's top notch. I mean, it's top notch stuff there, and insanely good drivers. It's kind of like some of those drivers come over there and like just beat us up, because they're like the 470 drivers, man. If you're not dead on 470 and have like a 001, 002 light, man, you're going home.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Those guys will humble you very quickly.
Yeah,
just like you better hope you can drive around them because
they're very consistent. I mean, and what's great about it is it's usually just them, their wife, and probably a kid or two.
Yeah,
over in their pits with the little car hauler and a pickup truck, and but yeah, I mean they're badass. I love that class, by the way, 470 class.
Yes, it's insane. That's what we're going to start doing back with this Beretta again.
There's Brian Whitworth. So I don't know if you know Brian or not, but he's a new owner of Verge. Verge is a 470.
Yeah. They the car that we bought right here, that guy ran in the Verge series a bunch. So this Beretta that's sitting back here, my dad bought it in the 90s, and then I ran it up to like 10 or 12 and sold it to some friends. Well, the other day they called and wanted to sell it, so we actually bought it back, so it came back home. And,
nice.
My dad's 67, just turned 67, and he's going to get back in it 470 race some, and then my son, the whole family. It's going to be like a community car, I believe. So
shit. So when you guys say you're coming to race, it's going to be you're going to have a handful of rigs. You're gonna have the whole. You're gonna have your own section. We'll have to block off like 5 spots for you guys.
Sullivan Square.
Right. You're gonna look like Tuttaro's section at the events. That guy's got like 50 rigs lined up at their events.
I don't know if we'll look quite like. We'll kind of be like the the Whiskey Tango version of that.
No, gotcha. So hey, I like doing this segment. As you may or may not know, I'm a musician. I'm a music junkie. So I do this segment called In the Groove, where basically my question is, whenever you're working in the shop or you're working on whatever, you're cruising, you're driving around or whatever it might be, or let's say you're at the races and you're wanting to pump yourself up. It's kind of a big moment. You're in the finals and you're getting out there in eliminations or whatnot. What are you listening to? Let me ask you this. What are you listening to get yourself going a little bit?
Dave, my playlist would blow your mind.
Give us a try.
Let's see.
So this morning I got fired up.
Culture Club.
I was on, I was on some Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yes.
Posse's on Broadway. I was
dude.
Right.
Posse's on Broadway.
Yeah.
Posse up. Boom. Oh, that's great stuff, man.
Then it went from that into some Steve Earle, and then I had some Eminem and MGK, where they were battling back and forth. So I had to listen to that today.
Bush is good. Yeah, Bush.
Oh yeah, I love some Bush and Live and all the 90s stuff.
Baby Got
Man, Baby Got Back is not. I mean, Sir Mix-a-Lot's best is probably on Broadway.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's so funny because I busted out all my cassette tape. When I went off into the service, my mom took all my shit and boxed it up into totes, right? Then when I got out, she's like, "All right, I kept all your shit. Now it's yours." And I thought, okay. Well, I went and put it in storage, and it was tucked away for 20 years. Well, last year, I went through all my stuff, man, and I got everything from all my blacklight posters to just all my shit in my room and all my cassette tapes. My 2 favorite tapes, I shit you not, they're in the other room that I just started listening to here just a couple months ago, is Sir Mix-a-Lot Swass and Beastie Boys, the License to Ill.
Yeah,
Those two.
They got the same vibe going with it.
They do. It's old school and it's great, man. And not to mention, like my Master Puppets, my Metallica Master Puppets, and my Slayer stuff. It's all great. But yeah, that's eclectic, man. Are you into country at all? I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, I'm definitely. I'll tell you, if it's anything, I'll be listening to some jazz music later.
Oh, amen, man. No, that's great. No, that's super great, actually. Bluegrass? You like bluegrass?
Yeah. Growing up around here, it's a lot of a lot of little local bands, bluegrass bands, country bands, and stuff that play around. So it's
love it.
Yeah, I think it's legally required in Tennessee.
Yeah, and barbecue. That's you got to have those 3.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You know what? Growing up when I was a kid, we had my family were the founders of Ozark Mountain Bluegrass. So my great uncle, Don Brown, had a group called Don Brown and the Ozark Mountain Trio. And it was him, Don Brown, Norman Ford, John Hartford, which are all pretty famous dudes. And this was like in the 50s and then into the 60s. And, then my grandfather became the Grand Ole Opry manager. So they used to do a tour. The Grand Ole Opry would do a tour, and he was in charge of that whole tour. So ironic, like he managed that, and now I'm managing a drag racing tour per se. It's kind of weird how that all worked. But growing up, man, Lester Flats, Earl Scruggs, going down to the Ozark Mountains where my family's from. And yes, Ozarks, if you've ever watched it, it is kind of crazy down the Ozarks. And family reunions were, man, people sitting around jamming, some mandolins, some fiddles, some killer bluegrass, and some.
I mean, y'all up in the Ozarks up there, y'all got like brother cousins and everything, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, luckily the giant forehead skipped me.
So your friends close and your family closer.
Well, what is it? Why go down the road when you can go down the hall?
Exactly. Save on gas.
I've never heard that before, but that's absolutely hilarious. Why go down the road when you go down the hall? As effed up as that sounds, that's funny as shit. Well, hey, man, I tell you what, brother, we appreciate you being on, John. The Patriot is a super cool car, and we're glad you're bringing it. And
See, you did it.
No, you're kidding. We've gone this whole time like that.
I was actually going to try to set that up earlier. I was going to try to set that up. No, it worked. We were actually going to try to set that up earlier, but I totally forgot to do it. Adam's like, and I was going to put a picture of your car up here, but I was like, oh, that'll give it away if I try to. If I know I can't use that joke, so. Yeah, no.
Funny story. I know you got to go, but
we got nothing.
Yeah, back in the 80s, my dad was running super gas, which is a quarter mile 990 index class, NHRA stuff. And Memphis was a new track back then, and they had a divisional NHRA race. Well, so my dad was there, had a blue Corvette, just John Sullivan, and then John Sullivan from Montgomery with the Patriot car. He had his top alcohol funny car back then. It was a blue Corvette, and it said John Sullivan on it. And there was a guy from, I believe, up in Kentucky. I think he's a dentist, but he had like a roadster that was blue. It was named John Sullivan.
Oh, God.
There's four freaking John Sullivans at this one race.
No. You should have had your own class.
I've got a picture of when I was like 8 years old, standing in front of the John Sullivan from Montgomery with the Patriot car, his funny car back in the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine just the confusion that happened at SGMP with the front of the tower and the Computech system. I can imagine being up in the tower working on the computer with 4 different John Sullivans. Like, wait a second.
I personally know the confusion that happened at some point in time. So yes,
I know there was a little confusion at the gate too, because I pulled in, like, no, you already have all your
that's right,
all your wristbands and stuff. I was like, no, I don't.
Oh yeah, that was a head scratching moment.
Yeah.
No, I'm a different John Sullivan.
Sure you are.
Yeah, sure you are. Man, well, I'll tell you what, we appreciate you being on, John. And hey, Montgomery is going to be a blast, and spread the word, and invite your friends, anybody that's watching. Come on, let's get the goal is to get a full 16 car field. We don't need 30 cars or 50 pro miles. We don't need all that. That's not what it's about. It's about being competitive and you guys having a good time and having the ability to beat up on some people, right? And it's just no fun for such handful of guys,
That's right. I think we'll have a great turnout at Montgomery. There's a lot of good racers that I believe with good competitive cars that will be there. That probably were not at South Georgia. I think a lot of them weren't quite ready yet. Still trying to get some parts in and stuff.
I'm learning that. You're right. I was even talking to Frankie Taylor, and he was telling me how long it took him just to get his blower in from, and I ended up meeting the owner of that blower company in the bleachers. Who I was sitting with, Chris and Amanda Duncan, and the owner was sitting there with his wife, and I didn't know this. And we were talking about Frankie. I was like, yeah, and Frankie was telling me it took him a year to get his blower, and he's like, what the fuck? And then the guy was like, Yeah, that's my company. I was like, oh, my bad, dude. I didn't know. And he's like, no, I get it. So between just that kind of delay and then everyone working over the winter time and trying to get their stuff together, it did seem like it might have been a tad early. March is a little tad early in the season. However, yeah, a lot of parts are on back order. However, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that the climate and inflation on all parts and everything else starts coming back down a little bit. It becomes a little more user-friendly. Things aren't on back order, and we can get it back to being, just a good, healthy, on-demand parts kind of thing, whether it's push rods, pistons, blowers, doesn't matter, and the prices come down, because then maybe I can jump into the game, because that would be super fun. But I'd have to create my own class, since I wouldn't be running a pro mod like the big dogs. I'd be running like a 5.0 class or some shit.
We could try the 470 stuff out at a race or two, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, look, one thing I'm not is scared. I am, I don't know how I actually made it to 47, to be perfectly honest with you. What'd you say?
It's half a miracle, at least.
Yeah, half a miracle for sure. But no, it'd be a good time. So yes, Drag Wars. That's always weird. Drag Wars, Montgomery, Alabama, May 3rd and 4th. May the 4th be with us. I'm going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'd imagine John's going to be a, I don't know, Han Solo or something. You kind of look like a young Han Solo.
You think?
No, I can't. Well, we appreciate you being on, man, and we'll be in touch. We'll make sure to get everything posted up on the Foat so everybody can get registered. But other than that, man, much love. We appreciate the shit out of you, brother, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Montgomery.
Sounds great. Look forward to seeing y'all.
All right, man.
All right, have a good night.
Peace and chicken grease. Oh, what a great dude, man. He's one of those guys you sit in the pits and talk to for, a couple hours and like, oh, shit, okay, I need to get back to it, Him and Hank Stubbs are kind of the same way. And Bubba. You can talk to Bubba forever. But usually Bubba's getting it. When I go to Bubba's pits, he's grinding his ass off. Are you talking, Adam? Because if you are, you're muted.
Yeah, sometimes it can all depend on the mood with Bubba. I got a lot of plates spinning. You know me.
Yeah, I know your command station. I don't know if anybody's aware of it or not, but
no, they are.
Adam literally faces 6 or 7 different monitors, and it's all set up like a space station. It's like all up here. It looks like Neil Peart on a drum set. He's got all of his cymbals and toms. Like it's not just like one computer that you're looking at. It's the whole giant wall command station. But
yeah, it's art.
But so Montgomery Drag Wars, we're gonna blow it up, man. Make it a good time, make it a party, have a costume party. Thanks, Jim. I hope you're feeling well, Jim. Hope everything's good with you, brother. And I appreciate you hanging out and talking with me there at SGMP, man. It's always a good time hanging out and talking, brother. But yeah, Drag Wars, gonna be a good time. Extreme Dragsters, Pro Nitrous, Pro Extreme.
Yes, he is.
Adam is the Warlock. Oh, is that your new nickname? Warlock instead of Prince?
It could be. I don't know. We'll have to find out. I like Silent Assassin, Puppet Master. There's all sorts of good ones, real good ones.
Puppet Master. Yeah, Prince, PA, Prince Adam. I don't know.
It works.
It does. It's kind of like
it's ominous.
It is ominous.
I've got it sewn on my name tags on my shirt, so I better stick with it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Anything we're forgetting? So again, we pulled the weight minimum off Pro Extreme. Mm-hmm. No weight minimum on Pro Extreme. Back to the good old days. We're going to keep it that way. And what else?
Just hoping to save some fuel for those racers that are hauling those cars if they can leave some weight at home.
Yeah, that's right. Just don't empty your fire extinguishers, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Please be safe. Don't do some dumb shit.
No.
For the love of God. Don't do anything stupid. Silent Assassin. Oh, I like Silent. There it is. Essay. Silent Assassin.
Essay.
Such
short story.
It's interesting. Is that? Do you have an ADRL shirt on? Is that an Adidas ADRL shirt?
That's my hoodie. Yeah, my jacket.
Oh man, that's great. Adam's created his own ADRL wardrobe.
I do have my own little merch line going on, but this was all created by the same person that creates all of the merch that we have at the ADRL store. So if you're interested in this, any of our fantastic hats that we've got going on,
yep,
Got some great hoodies and shirts. We also have some of the shirts from past events on there as well. So those nice tumblers. I mean, if you want it, we got it. And if we don't,
we'll get it.
Let me know.
Let Adam know. And we want to thank our sponsors, Renegade Racing Fuels, Fuel Tech, and Chris Duncan Race Cars. You can probably see that up here.
Yeah, there we go.
But we definitely want to give them a mention. We appreciate their support and everything they've done for us up to this point. So, yeah, that's right. So, Drag Wars, Montgomery, May 3rd and 4th. May the 4th be with us. Spread the word. Tell everybody it's going to be a party. It ain't no party like an ADRL party, because ADRL parties don't stop. That's right.
That is what they say. I've heard that countless times.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to keep rolling with that. But until next week, we appreciate you guys. Adam, I don't have anything else. Did I miss anything? I didn't print out our outline this time.
No, I mean, we're at about an hour, 25 minutes. If we didn't cover it on this, I don't know what else there is. All right, great. Well, hey, we love you, ADRL Nation. Thank you for joining in. Again, another Thursday down, episode 4,562. We're going to keep plugging around. And we're going to keep plugging around. So until next time, peace and chicken grease.